All right. Good day to you. It is Saturday. Started back in the gym today. Today was day one. Anyway, it's good to get started. I'll go tomorrow as well. And I'm going to keep all my leg shit, I'm going to do it here. So I'll be videoing that. I'll start to video some things in the gym now too. I'll explain why I'm going to start to do that later. Let's try to stay a little bit on topic. This video, I kind of take issue with something that Jason Blaha said not too long back. He posts a lot of videos, so I was briefly looking through some of his stuff today, a little while ago. So I'm not sure how old the video is. It's not that old. It's within weeks old. The only reason I was over there looking is I don't have anything against the guy necessarily. I just, you know what I mean? It's live and let live, man. Live and let live. Pursue your happiness, whatever the fuck that might entail. You know, it's the USA, man. You're free to pursue your happiness. Simple as that. But I had heard somewhere else, I saw on the internet posted, I just dropped by someplace just to catch up on what might be going on in the fitness community. Not YouTube, a board. And once in a while, I'll go look at a board somewhere or something like that. It's not like I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to that. I'm not an internet guy. I'm not, but I may go just to brush up, particularly before a Saturday night. If I'm planning to do a shit show, I need some topical ideas, Anyhow, so I saw something credited to him as having been said or endorsed that seemed kind of ludicrous, but it must be like a really, really, really old, wherever they got this information from, that they have accredited to him as the wellspring. It has to have been like so old, like years old. And it could have been when he was trolling or, when he was more of a caricature. He did those kind of videos more. I mean, he's been doing these serious training videos for quite a while now, But I didn't realize it, so I went to look. I said, I can't believe he got into this groove that I think is better. You know what I mean? That I tip my hat to him. I think is better. Much better content, in my opinion. That's what I believe. Am I saying that I think that he's the authority for me? No, absolutely not. No fucking way in hell. But that's only because, just like I'm sure I'm not the authority for him. Probably feels the same exact way. And there are more ways to skin a cat than just one. There truly are. There are many, many ways to get to the same place. So, whatever is your cup of tea, kick back and drink it. But I went and looked and I thought, man, that's kind of, I don't have a seat at the table. I'm not even in the card game, but it's kind of disappointing that he would fall back and go back into that when he's, established himself as he's putting out productive training videos all this time now, as far as I know, new. So I went and shuffled through a whole bunch of them. And no, he didn't say I couldn't find anything like that. I just gave up on it. He didn't. But what I did see, I saw where he posted a video. It's not the first time he said this, over the course of time I've been aware that he's on YouTube, or that I've even been looking at YouTube, really. He's been around a lot longer than I have on YouTube. And he's much more serious about it than I am, that's for damn sure. But he said that it's a fitness myth. He makes, apparently every so often he'll make a video dispelling what he believes are fitness myths. And he says that when people tell you you can eat, you're not losing weight because you're not eating enough. And then he said, it could be a play on words. Are they talking about volume? Because that would work because it keeps you more satiated and you feel fuller and blah, 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 blah. But if you're talking about calories, it's not true, right? It's a myth. And I take like complete exemption with that. That's completely fucking correct and wrong. It's just not true. It's just wrong. For one thing, I never feed anybody, nor do I do it to my own self. I don't eat to feel satiated. I don't organize a diet so that you're going to be satiated. That's not a primary concern of mine. If you don't have fucking willpower enough to achieve your goals nutritionally, that's on you. That's your part. That's what you have to do. So I'm not trying to fill you up to the point, oh, well, they won't be hungry with this. It just happens to be circumstantially, just serendipity. You're not going to be hungry on any diet I put you on because truth of the matter is it's almost always, I can't even remember the last time it wasn't the case that I will have someone eating literally more calories, more food and more calories in totality per 24-hour period by a decent margin than what they were previously eating. And they will begin to lose body fat. And that is how, for me, recompensation is achieved. Because I'll say it once again, you cannot starve a portion of the organism without starving the whole organism. So if you're one of these cats that believes in the castaway approach to dieting, the Tom Hanks castaway approach to dieting, where you fucking just don't eat, as far as calories, you're going to continually reduce calories and starve off the fucking fat, right? You can do that if you want to. Does it work? Of course it works. You see people on these shows, Alone or Naked and Afraid, or any of these shows, right? Castaway dieting. They're not eating anything. They're losing a lot of weight. They're losing body fat faster than muscle, usually. And I don't understand what people don't grasp about this concept. And the thing is, if you don't understand how something works or you don't have any experience with it, if you have no fucking experience with it, okay, another thing he's fond of saying, we don't have to try something to know if it works or not. That's fine. Like I said, pursue your happiness. But as far as me, the fuck I don't. Now, of course, let's not get facetious. I don't have to eat rat poison to know that it's poisonous and toxic and it's not something I want to consume. But throughout my life, that I've had an interest in fitness and my appearance, my physique and its performance, I'm always looking for a more efficient way. Always. Continually learning. I have refined tactics and approaches for myself. Just an ongoing thing. It's just an ongoing progression of refinement. Look at the Tudka thing. All the benefits that I'm experiencing from that, you can't deny the benefits. Am I a lot leaner? Yeah. Am I a lot lighter? Yeah. Am I less muscular? Yeah, but I'm not working out. And I'm not eating. Does it take away my appetite? Like I'm inclined to crave food less? Yeah, by a great margin. Everybody that I know who's tried it says that. But again, that's not something that I need, but it sure is a nice little side, I'm taking it. Initially, I just took it because the majority of your immune system revolves around the condition of your gut, good gut health. And I started taking the prebiotic and had such success with that. Felt so great. I figured I'm going to try this Tudka, see what all the hubbub's about. Now, if I try it and it doesn't really seem to merit its inclusion, or for me to pony up the bucks to buy that every month, I'm not going to keep doing it just blindly. You know what I mean? So that kind of coincides with, you don't have to try it to know if it works. Well, then what? If everybody says it works, and if you read all kind of articles saying it works, and even if you see a study that says it works, Does that mean that now you try it? And then, by token of that logic, does it mean that even if it doesn't work for you, you just continue to blindly take it? Or blindly follow it, or do it, or adhere to it? Of course not. Of course not. So, sure, a lot of things you don't have to try to know it works, it doesn't work. But, I know I can't jump off this roof and fly. I don't have to climb up there, flap my arms and leap off and see if maybe I can. I already know I can't. You know what I mean? And anybody foolish enough to try something like that is going to find out reality can be a motherfucker, when they hit that ground. But I don't understand what people don't grasp about how you can increase calories and still lose weight. They can't, it's just a small little gap that they have to bridge to even understand it. You are still creating a caloric deficit at the end of the day. How does that blow people's minds? How does that totally destroy their paradigm to where they can't even conceive of it? You can take in more calories, and in so doing create a caloric deficit, because it's not always how many calories, it's the source of the fucking calories and nutrient timing. The source of the calories and nutrient timing. And that might sound like, oh, that's way overly complicated. It's not that complicated. It just seems that way. It's not that complicated in practice. A guy I'm working with right now, he's doing it. He's doing it. All he wanted to do was to drop weight for more of an endurance type of physicality that he engages in. And so he wanted to drop weight so he could get back into that. And you know me, I like muscle. So I looked at him and thought, he's got a pretty decent physique. It looks like he has some potential. Let's build a little muscle. Let's try something. Will you let me try this? Let's try to kind of do a recomp where we can slowly drop body fat, but hopefully we can gain a little bit of muscle here and there, a little bit. Foreign to you, or you have been removed from it long enough, even if it's not completely and entirely foreign to you, it will have a much bigger bang for the proverbial buck when you reinstate it, or when you reinstate, or when you install or instill, or take up something like that you haven't done. So if I'm eating very easy to digest foods, very simple, very processed. When I say simple, I'm talking about that they're not complicated for the body to absorb, to break down, to digest, to absorb, assimilate the nutrition from, the calories from. That's what I say. When I say simple, that's kind of what I'm referring to, layman type of terminology. That's what I mean. It's easy on the body. If I want to get big, and I want to do it, I want to just cheap out and do it quickly, then nutritionally, I'm looking for shittier foods, simpler foods, usually more processed shit. Am I trying to pawn this off as a healthy approach? There's something really sustainable, you should eat like this your whole life? Of course not. Fuck no. Of course not. It's a means to an end. Then you got to slowly move into something else. And ultimately, when an approach like that, what that does is like a gallon of milk a day thing. If you got a person that really is just out there and they're not in that mindset, and they don't want to give it that much thought, and they don't really have that much knowledge, and they don't really care that much about it, they just want to see something happen, then you give the skinny kid a gallon of milk a day. If he can manage to drink it, he's going to gain weight. Is that something you should do your whole life? Is that really a healthy thing to do? Probably not. But if you're just a young kid, if you low mileage car, you can do that for a little short period. Everybody, so many people have done it. It's ridiculous, and it'll work most of the time, if not all the time. It's the same way with this food. You could, if you were trying to do a quick bulk, you would do the opposite of what I'm describing to lose weight. Literally, it works best. It works best if you already are eating some kind of disciplined, regimented diet. some kind of nutritional plan. That's how you're eating, okay? You're basically eating about the same number of calories every day. You know, well, and you're wise to that. That's by design. Then if I want to do a recomp with you, ideally, a thermogenic approach or a thermogenically oriented diet will work best if calories can remain the same. So we're not going to cut calories and starve the organism. We're going to eat the same number of calories, but we're going to radically modify the source of those calories. And as the diet progresses, like I always say, diet should be a fluid thing, not a static thing. You got to, roll with the punches, bob and weave. You want to design it so you have foods that you can pull out and plug in more thermogenic oriented type of foods, more fibrous choices. Just like with your cardio, you don't want to jump in both feet from day one. You want to do just enough. Just enough is enough. That way you can incrementally ratchet things up. Just like you do with progressive resistance. Well, you will progressively begin to resist changing or adapting in small incremental measures if you do it the way that I do it, because that way there's always somewhere else for me to go. But if you throw everything in, the whole kitchen sink at it at one time, your whole bag of tricks at once, yeah, you're going to get results. But then in the end, you're very, very probably, if not definitely, going to end up stuck. And there's nowhere else to go. And now you're really making it a chore, to try and get that last bit of fat off or whatever the case may be, whatever you're trying to do. But, the turning up the calories and losing weight, or keeping the calories the same and losing weight, you can't starve a part of an organism. You can't. And that's why a lot of people think you can't lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time. Fuck, you can't. Fuck, you can't. You're never, all day long you're like this. You're anabolic, catabolic, anabolic, catabolic, anabolic, catabolic. Positive nitrogen, negative nitrogen balance. You're never, one side or the other all day long. You're always like this. And so the reality turns out to be that over short durations of time, you can be gaining and you can be losing. You can be gaining and you can be losing. We think in terms of a 24-hour period. We think in terms of a 7-day week. We think that way. We've created that. That's how we mark time. But you got to move away from that mentality. You don't need to apply that to this approach. Small changes, small steps to the moon. Anyway, I'm getting kind of too far out of the scope of what I'm here to really talk about, but that's what it is, key and point. I mean, if you eat really simple, uncomplicated, and that's usually more processed nutrition, that shit is nothing for your body to absorb that shit and metabolize and absorb that nutrition, those calories, no matter what they are. But if you then switch over and start pulling some of that out and plugging in more fiber-enriched foods, or even supplementing with fiber if necessary, and you throw in some probiotics, and maybe once you get rolling along, maybe throw in some TUDCA now, because it's going to stunt that appetite a little bit, because when we're going to start out, we're going to be eating a lot of food. Yeah. So initially, I have people eat a lot more food volume-wise and more food calorically. A lot more volume in the foods that I choose in the beginning, but also it does, in totality, it is more calories in per day. But the calories out is greater. You're still creating a caloric deficit, but it's kind of on the back end or in the middle, whatever you want to say. It's not what you're putting down your throat. That's not the only way to get things done. That's where people get stuck in this mentality. It's not how the body works. Think about how the body works. Think your body just treats everything you throw down your neck the same. It doesn't. So, now am I saying you come in and you're not really losing weight, you're not gaining weight, but you're eating 2,500 calories a day, 2,000 calories a day. Just you're maintaining, you're just cruising along. And I'm going to give you some kind of a thermogenic approach, and we're trying to do a recomp. So you're going to lose slower, but you're going to progressively lose. You're going to be more around that 2 pounds loss a week that way, body fat loss a week that way when I'm done. But you may gain some muscle in 85% of the time, people do. I'm not going to take your calories from 2,000 or 2,500 to 10,000 calories, 7,000 calories, 5,000 calories. No. But I will take you from 2,000 or 25 to 3 to 34, somewhere in that neighborhood for sure. And you'll slowly begin to lose body fat where you weren't previously. Anyway, that's all. It's just, listen, if it seems overly complicated, then follow your own path, man. I'm not trying to sell you on any fucking thing. I'm just sharing. There's more than one way to skin a cat. That's for damn sure. More than one way to skin a cat. It's like anything you do. There's more than one way to get to the same end result. It's just some ways are more efficient, some ways are not. And to tell you the God's honest truth, what's more efficient for one person, that may not be the way the approach is more efficient for another person, because the other person, he may have other issues with that. Maybe he can't stick to a regimented diet like that. Maybe he can't maintain that consistency like that. Maybe he's still going to be up and down, and you don't want to be fluctuating. You're not with something like that. So that's it. That's all I want to throw in there. Now, will you go through the whole diet, and by just eating the food, you're going to consistently lose weight? No. I start out, you're not going to do any cardio. I don't want you doing any cardio. Ideally, I would hope you haven't been doing any cardio. And then I want to see the diet do its thing in the first 2 weeks. Maybe 3 weeks if it's really working. Maybe 4. I want to see the diet do its thing. Of course, you're going to be working out and training. But then I want to not only switch out foods little by little, very slowly, but I also want to roll in cardio. Thermogenically induced exercise weight loss. Or exercise-induced thermogenesis. So you got dietary induced, you got exercise induced. Then we start to throw in, I might roll in other things like a pretty decent amount of L-carnitine, liquid L-carnitine prior to your fasted cardio. And it's another one. People, the studies say L-carnitine doesn't do anything for fat loss. Yeah. Well, it's all in how you read it, isn't it? When you look at the studies, the controlling study that talks about this kind of thing, how did they approach it? Just take the L-carnitine every day and you lose. No. Of course you're not going to lose fat. Nothing works unless you do. It's not a fucking drug. It's an amino acid. But if you take L-carnitine 10, 15 minutes before you get on that treadmill, empty stomach, and you get on that fucking treadmill, bullshit. However much you sweat, typically in 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes of cardio, get your heart up there, get your heart rate up there into that fat burning zone, wherever that might be for you. The charts are only a starting point, give you a rough idea if you don't know. Personally, I can feel it better than I can gauge it by beats per minute. But you do it without the L-carnitine, and then you take about 3,000, 3,500 milligrams of L-carnitine before you get on the treadmill. You tell me there's not a drastic difference. I dare any motherfucker to do it. Tell me it's not a difference. You'll sweat your fucking balls off. Everything costs calories, man. Everything costs calories. How do you think you're producing all this sweat? There's a cost in all that. You're burning fuel, burning calories. So all these little things. These little things add up to something that appears like, wow, I'm getting a radical result from this. It's amazing. Well, not really. You're getting an education from this, and you're experiencing it, so you see it works. You know it works. And it's actually just small incremental things that in totality, create this effect. It's not fucking, it's truly science. People love to throw up science. It's truly science. So if I don't understand a thing, or haven't tried to understand it, it hasn't caught my eye enough, I haven't looked into it myself, I have no experience with it, then I'll always tell you that. I'll always say, well, I don't know. If somebody asks me about something I don't know about, I'll say, I don't know about it. I won't just dismiss it out of hand and say, oh, no, that doesn't work at all. How the fuck do I know it doesn't work? Because some other fucking dickhead told me it doesn't work? Because some fucking numbnuts wrote it down somewhere in a book or in a study, and there's a big gap between, I wasn't there, I didn't see it, I'm not the guy that did the study, blah, 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 I wasn't one of the participants, I don't know all the ins and outs exactly. Come on, man. I can say, well, the science I've seen on it says this. But if I don't have any experience with something and you say to me, hey, a lot of people now are doing this, I'll tell you what, perfect example, people ask me about SARMs frequently. They used to ask me all the time about it. What do you think about SARMs? Don't know nothing about it. What can I tell you? What I've read, what I've heard, I know quite a bit about that. But fuck, I don't know. I can't authenticate that. I haven't tried any of that shit. Why? If it ain't broke, don't break it. I don't fuck with that. The only thing I ever tried was BPC, whatever the fuck, for helping heal up my shoulder. 57, is that what that was? BPC, I don't know which one it was. Don't quote me on it. Like I said, it's not, I don't need it. I don't need that. You know what I mean? Don't need to put any more foreign materials in my body like that. I'm more cautious than you think. Not out of fear or anything, it's just out of, I don't need to make it overly complicated. I can do anything that I need to do. If I want to get hella strong, if I want to get hella big, if I want to get smaller, if I want to get leaner, if I want to get harder, I already know how to do. And it works like gangbusters. I already have very efficient approaches to that. So something like, oh, hey, this BPC shit, or this fucking SARM shit, or these selective androgen receptor modulators, this shit's better than, I don't need that. I'll do what I need to do with food and nutrition and work. Really. And maybe some testosterone if I need it. And right now, no. But I'm my own man. I'm not chained to anything. You know what I mean? I had hair fucking no down to my waist previously at one time. Years. But I just one day got tired of it. It was more trouble than it was worth as I matured. And I said, fuck this, just cut it all off. Never grown it back. It wasn't like I lost my identity overnight because I cut it all off. I don't feel like me. No, I'm still the same motherfucker. Still the same asshole with or without it. And it's the same way with, if I'm huge, muscular, big motherfucker, 22-inch arms, or if I'm, 20-inch arm, or if I'm, from 260 or 270 or 280, or if I'm only, 240 or 230. Same guy. Same guy. I don't base any of my decisions, or I don't say, oh, I got to run back and do it. I'm not as big as I was. But like I said, pursue your happiness. If I wake up one morning and say, yeah, you know what? I kind of miss being stronger. It's fun. I like to get big. I do like it, But I have to weigh that against health benefits versus potential health risks. Just carrying around all that fucking extra material that has to be fed, and all that blood, all that extra blood you're going to need. Anyway, that's it, man. That's all. Just wanted to touch on that, man. If I don't know, I'll just tell you, I don't know anything about that. Simple as that. I can tell you what I read or what I heard or what I saw somebody do, but I don't know. Personally, no first-hand experience. I'm here to talk about first-hand experience. If that's not everybody's bag, that's fine, And I'm not picking on Jason Blaha. Not picking on him at all. I think his channel's improved vastly. You know, I'm a small fish. I mean, he don't need my approval, but I think his channel's improved a lot. And, you know, people grow emotionally, mentally, psychologically, all of us. And, you know, it's always a good thing. It's always a good thing. You stop growing, you stop learning. You know. And whatever he's doing, he's making progress, right? It seems like he's stronger now than he used to be. So, you know, if he's moving toward his goals and it's working for him, man, then that's what really counts, right? The proof is in the pudding, in anything. But there's always more than one way to do a thing. You guys take care. I'll be back later on. Sorry this is so long, but you know how I roll. I'm out of here.